What's going on, man? How you doing?
Man, I'm doing wonderful. Couldn't be better. If I try to be better, I wouldn't be better. So I'm just being my best. You know what I'm saying? In the moment, whichever moment I'm in at any time.
Damn, man, that's such a fly ass response. Yo,
Yeah. Thank you, man. Thank
yeah.
you.
That's a fly ass response. So, all right. So, for the people that don't know about you, if you could tell a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, man. What's up? I'm Jordan MacDonald. I'm a comedian from Texas, working to become an international superstar. Dog. That's really it. Just randomly left America. I was only supposed to be gone for like 2.5 months, and it's been 3 months now, and cancel my flight back to the States. So I'm just out here rocking and rolling, bro.
Man, bro, you really rocking and rolling, man.
Yeah, man. I believe that comedy is like in a rock and roll age right now, and so
Mhm.
and that's my energy is just like balls to the wall, pirate life, unicorn life, rock and roll life, just going and doing things, man. But yeah, Texas kid out here in Europe for the
Man,
first time performing and stuff. It's been crazy.
it's your first time out here in Europe.
It's my second time in Europe, but the first time I came was right before the pandemic happened, and I
Mm,
wasn't even doing comedy. Well, I had started doing comedy, but I just spent a few days in like 6 different countries out
mhm.
here. But this is my first time out here actually performing
Wow.
and just running around like a madman right now.
Yeah, man, you running around, man, and still
Yeah.
looking fly in the process. I ain't gonna
Yeah,
lie
you
to you,
got to,
bro.
man. You got to, man. Like people's first impression of you is always physical. Before you open your mouth, they see what you're wearing and stuff.
Mhm.
And honestly, I feel more comfortable dressed nice. Like I don't like leaving, my vicinity not dressed nice just in case like somebody important, meets me or whatever. And they're like,
Right.
oh, you kind of dress like a bum or whatever. So I always just, make sure that I'm always put together. But that's because of my pops too. My pops was like, hey, present yourself
Right.
in the best way possible.
Was your pops an artist or something?
Nah, man, my pops is a Vietnam War vet.
Word? Cause I
Yeah.
ain't gonna lie, man. Cause I would assume based on how you dress, cause you basically, if anyone doesn't see this right now, but you basically dress like, I mean, well, you have Lenny Kravitz, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
who else you get? You get Lenny Kravitz, you get
Prince,
Prince,
Jimi
Jimi
Hendrix,
Hendrix,
uh, Lionel Richie.
Lionel Richie. Like, I mean, go down the list of
Yeah, I
all the
can go.
light skinned
Yeah,
dudes.
all the light skinned dudes that have been famous. So I think I'm in a good path right now because I'm like, all right, all these light skinned dudes are super duper fly, super duper talented, change the face of how we experience art and stuff. But I think I've been told I'm the best dressed comedian. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna just keep rolling with that. People think I do music when they first meet me. They're like, "You a musician?" I'm like, nah, I just be telling jokes.
Damn. Does that sometimes mess up with your not your persona, but if you walk into the room, like people expect from you music, but you come out with jokes, and they're like, "Oh, I thought you was gonna be singing somewhere
Yeah,
in the
but
process."
I feel like it kind of adds a certain type of interest that people have in me
Mhm.
because they're like, "Oh, this dude looks like he's about to rip on the guitar." Like, no, I just got a bunch of stupid jokes. I got a bunch of silly stuff I'm about to tell y'all.
Yeah. Can you play the guitar?
A little bit, a little bit, a
I mean,
little
at least
bit.
that.
Yeah, yeah, I
All
can play a
right.
little bit of guitar.
Yeah.
I'm actually left-handed too, like Jimi Hendrix was too.
Oh,
So it's
bro,
like,
bro. Then everything's lined up for you.
yeah,
Are you
yeah, bro,
serious?
exactly. Yeah, 100%,
Oh,
100%.
all right. Because if you couldn't play the guitar, that would have been a tragedy for a
Yeah,
lot
no,
of
it
people.
would have been
Yeah.
very tragic. But I play a little bit, but I'm much better at telling jokes than playing. I picked up the guitar during the pandemic,
Hmm.
just because I couldn't do anything else. So I
Yeah, we was
picked
all
up the
going through it.
guitar, learned a little bit. Um, got like decent. I'm not anything spectacular at all, but
Mhm.
yeah, man, I just I like I love I love artists like Jimi Hendrix, especially because at his time he was the biggest black artist in the world.
Yes.
And black people weren't like used to this his type of energy or whatever. Nobody was used to his type of energy at first or whatever. And so it was like I just love that, be fly and go get up on stage and
Hmm.
just rock out. And so in my head I'm playing guitar when I'm telling jokes on stage. In my head I'm like I'm ripping it up. I'm tearing up, festival stages and stuff, but
Yeah.
just in the more silly way.
Mm. That's actually interesting to think about it in terms of like telling jokes. But like, I don't know what would be the guitar, but you're playing some type of musical notes via jokes.
Yeah, man, and it's like I'm I'm here to entertain people, you know. So it's like at least if you don't like my jokes, at least I look good. At least I look fly, you know. Even if you don't like what I'm saying, like that dude's dressed pretty dope though, you know.
Yeah, you know what I mean. You are, bro, and I ain't gonna lie. I thought you lived out here. You had a spot, but you living out of your suitcase, dressed fly. So I
Yeah,
mean,
man.
definitely, probably somewhere in this podcast, we're gonna ask you for some tips on how to, man, this is gonna be like a GQ esque episode.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm gonna put y'all on game on how to keep the dopeness, how to keep the freshness going. You know what I'm saying?
But let's start with you coming from Texas. So what? Texas is a big state. So I mean, what
Yeah,
part of Texas you
huge
from?
state. So I lived in Austin for the past 3 years, but I'm not from Austin. People think I'm from Austin a lot, but I'm actually from a real small town called Sherman, Texas.
Sherman.
I was raised on a Black Angus cattle ranch. Yeah, so I'm a
Ooh,
literal cowboy too.
what,
Yeah, which is kind of blows people's mind, but legit raised cowboy life. We had cows, we had horses. I know how to do all the cowboy stuff that you can imagine. Yeah.
bro? So you know how to like you know how to like work on the farm and stuff, like
Oh
like in
yeah.
terms of like
Bro, your joke about watching the horse
yeah.
feet videos,
Right.
I used to do stuff like
You
that.
used to clean horse feet?
Yeah, I used to clean horse feet.
TikTok. You see, TikTok is crazy. It has lettuce in a weird path to where I'm talking to somebody who worked on a Black Angus what cow, whatever the fuck
Yeah,
farm. That's
yeah,
crazy.
yeah. Black Angus cattle, and then we had in high school. That's when we switched from cows to horses because we moved from one small town to a bigger small town called Montgomery, Texas,
Mhm.
and we raised Tennessee walking horses,
Wow.
which is it's a gaited horse. So you know, like when you see most people riding horses, they're bouncing.
Mm-hmm.
So like a Tennessee Walker, since it's gated, their leg movement is different. So when you're riding them and you're going fast, you just smooth.
Damn.
It's real player. It's like a real player horse.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that was possible.
Yeah.
Yo, so you really grew up on a farm? I
Yeah,
didn't even know
man.
that's some inside information.
Yeah. So most horses when they walk, it's like diagonal. So front left, back right will move, right?
Right.
But gated horse, it's parallel. So the left side is moving and the right side is moving. So when they're running, there's no bounce to it.
Oh.
Yeah. So it's like it's like if a pimp was a horse, it'd be a Tennessee Walker. You know, like for real. Just no bounce. Just I'm just smooth sailing, dog. I'm just cruising. I'm just on cruise control.
One smooth ass horse.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So, all right. So now I definitely got to ask you. I mean, like, so these horse feet cleaning videos, right? They're very, I don't know, weird. Is this really how it goes down with cleaning horse feet?
Yeah, man. Like honestly, like if you think watching the videos of the horse feet is satisfying, wait till you clean a horse foot. It's oddly satisfying, bro. It
So
really is. It really is.
okay, so it's actually real. Okay, so I'm not crazy. For anyone who doesn't know, I'm kind of slightly addicted to horse feet cleaning videos, and
Got a mad horse foot fetish.
well, it's not a finish anymore because
Yeah.
in real life it's actually pleasurable. So
Yeah,
now I
yeah,
got my
yeah.
alibi, down pat.
And the technical term is hooves. Horse hooves, yeah.
Oh, it's hooves.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But feet counts.
Yeah, but feet
counts.
sounds more freakier. Yeah. I think
Yeah,
when-
feet does, yeah.
Yeah,
It does sound more
horse
freakier.
feet, hooves. It's like, oh, technically, this guy could be in. He rides horses. X, Y, Z. Horse feet is like, nah, he likes horse feet. Not
Yeah.
horses. He just like the feet of horses.
It's a lucrative market too, man. Those the people that like shod the horses, they make bank.
Really?
Yeah, they make good money.
Damn.
Because they'll just run around like every day going to different people's farms and stuff and
Mhm.
and putting shoes on the horse's feet and
wow.
they make bank. Yeah.
So they make money, and then on top of that, they on TikTok getting million because sometimes they got millions of views.
Yeah, bro.
So they make extra money.
Making extra money.
Oh wow.
I didn't even
yo.
know there was a horse hoof cleaning TikTok algorithm or whatever.
Yeah, it's
until-
out there, bro. They got multiple. They got in different countries. They got one in China, one in Mexico. Like they got
Yo.
different types. Yeah, I'm deep in, man. I'm pretty sure they got an OnlyFans for one of these things.
Yeah, that's that real freaky stuff, The stuff they can't show on TikTok.
Yeah.
Say, girl, bring me that horse hoof.
Subscribe.
I'm about to go crazy with it.
Subscribe for exclusive content where the guy's talking through the process and then doing like multiple feet on the same horse.
Yeah, it's
Oh shit.
it is a sexy type of like thing to do. You know? Yeah.
I mean, yeah, that's okay. That's interesting that that is a lucrative thing. I thought I was like
Yeah.
just
No, it's a lucrative market, especially like because I mean, you know, you're American, so most of America is just country.
yeah.
Most of it is country. Like you got the big metro cities, like, but those are like, you know, the like an ant pile, like an ant hill, you know. But then outside of the ant hill, you just got country stuff, and so a lot of these people got horses, and these horses they got to get their feet cleaned because their toes will grow real long and stuff, and that's not safe for the horse. So you got to like really take care of them. Horses are expensive too. It's an expensive
Mm,
type of animal to keep.
right. Big animals too, like
Big,
huge.
yeah, yeah.
It's
I've been
crazy.
bit by horses. I've been kicked by horses.
You been bit by a horse?
Yeah,
Whoa, bro.
bro,
Wait.
and they bite. They,
And now I can see the teeth, the jaw muscle. Like,
yeah. I've gotten
bro,
bit on the stomach
you got.
by a horse twice. Yeah,
Hold on, wait. How did what happened for the horse to bite you directly in your
because
stomach? And
man, like some horses are assholes, bro. My mom had a horse. His name was Z, and he was just an asshole. And I was taking him to one of the we you would have to like switch the pastures that they were in because they would eat down the grass. All right, now that's dirt. That grass needs to grow up, so I got to take you to this other pasture. So I was taking Z to a pasture one time, and he was a real impatient, like high spirited horse. And I had his bucket of food in one hand, and I was taking him to the pasture to go feed him,
Mhm.
and he was getting impatient, so he just whipped down and bit me on my stomach. So I took the bucket and just hit him across the head. Like they got hard ass heads. Like it's not animal abuse. It might be. No, but yeah, he bit me, and there was a bruise, big ass bruise on my stomach from where he bit me.
Well, why your stomach? That is so specific.
He's
Not your
man,
arm, like not
no,
your just.
no. He was like, "I'm going for it. I'm about to pull out some internal organs, dog."
Yo, he a real asshole to bite you.
Oh
That's an
yeah, bro.
asshole move to bite you in your stomach.
Yeah, some horses are assholes. Like they got big personalities. Horses are weird. They're you'll meet some like real sweet, calm horses. Then you'll meet
Yeah.
like them real high strung, crazy horses,
Mhm.
and like they will bite. And if they don't fuck with you, they'll kick, they'll bite.
You got
Yeah,
kicked, and you see, you also got kicked by a
yeah. I've
horse.
gotten kicked in the leg by a horse.
Because look, I know the original Superman, he got kicked and he was paralyzed. So you're
Yeah,
still walking.
yeah. I'm still walking. I'm still
Okay,
walking.
so how did you get kicked and you still walking?
Because the rule of thumb with horses, if you're walking behind a horse, you're supposed to stay close and kind of keep your hand on their butt so they can't extend out.
Mm,
And I was walking behind him, but I was in close enough distance where he could reach me, but not like close to like where it wouldn't hit me.
mhm.
And so he just lifted that foot back, kicked back, hit me right in the thigh. Yeah, I'm
And
bruised up.
okay, so just a bruise.
Yeah, just a bruise.
Okay, it
Yeah.
wasn't like a broken.
No, I wasn't broken anything, but a horse can like if you get kicked in the stomach by a horse, it will break your ribs.
You know, like that is so wild to know that and then still be around horses. You know, be around an animal that can impact you like that. You
Yeah, they're
know.
beautiful animals though, man. They're like really. One time I had a horse. I had a Tennessee walking horse. Her name was Chispa. She was raised by on a Mexican farm,
Hmm.
so she only spoke Spanish. Right. So if you told her to walk, she wouldn't do anything. But if you said camina, she would walk.
Oh
Whatever.
wow.
So she only understood Spanish commands, and that was like my baby. Her and I had a real good connection. I could literally throw the reins down and stand up on top of her back, nothing holding her, and she would just stand there and take care of me. One time I was on a trail ride with her. I got sick. I started throwing up, and I just like threw the reins down, and she took me back home. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah,
So horses are loyal too.
yeah. It's like a dog. It's like a giant dog, honestly. Like
Wow.
yeah, they'll take care of you. They really like you can build a connection. And supposedly a horse never forgets humans. So like once they got your scent, they'll remember you forever.
Mm.
Yeah.
So do you like? I don't know if your family or so still have horses, but do you ever go back and
Not
they'll?
really. My both my parents were born in the 50s. So once they got like a lot older and stuff, and then all of the, you know, my siblings and I, like we moved out, it was just hard. A farm is a lot of upkeep. Like it's work every single
Yeah.
day. Every single day you're working on the farm every single day. And so they just got, you know, kind of to the age where they couldn't keep doing that. So they don't have the horses anymore.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow, man, I did not know that about horses. I
Yeah,
mean,
man.
the only thing I knew about horses that they, I mean, obviously horse feet from TikTok, and then also the old Superman getting kicks and he was
Yeah, and
paralyzed.
he's paralyzed.
That's the
Yeah,
only thing I knew about horses,
yeah,
and I was like, I would never get around a
yeah.
horse.
I mean, they can be extremely dangerous animals. Like
Right.
they can paralyze people. You know, like it's a dangerous animal, but it's also like I don't know, man. Like having a connection with the horse, like a good connection with the horse, with a good horse. It's kind of I don't know. It's like a weird spiritual thing in a
Mm.
way. Yeah,
I guess it has to be kind of because here's an animal that's majestic, yet an animal that also hurts you in like so many ways.
yeah.
So you have
But you
that
know, like
balance.
we've been you know riding horses for thousands of years and taking them into war and stuff, and like you got to have an animal that's going to take care of you. But you know, especially if you're going into a war. I've never been into a war with a horse, but I imagine that that's a magical thing too, because like man, this big ass dog is a
Yeah,
warrior, running into battle and stuff and
and
taking care of me and stuff.
right, and going fast too.
Going fast too, man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
can horses go? I mean, how fast can a horse go?
It depends on what kind of horse it is. Like most race horses, those are thoroughbreds or quarter horses, and some of them can get up to like, you know, 30, 40 miles per hour.
What?
Yeah, full speed.
Bro, that is crazy.
Yeah.
Wow. Man, all right, you changed my mind about horses, man. Yeah, I'm over here had mad stereotypes about horses. Now it's been affected. All right, thank you
Yeah.
for sharing that.
It's the same how, people feel about black people sometimes. They got mad stereotypes and ideas of us, and they're like, wait, y'all aren't all the same,
All right,
because
yeah, you know.
you're not one dimensional like the CNN tells us.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I've been to a cookout and it's actually not bad.
it's not bad.
Yeah.
Damn.
They start
Yeah.
getting cocky. They're like, "Oh yeah, I've been in a cookout, so I'm kind of cool with the brothers." You're like,
Yeah.
"Nah, you're not. Sorry, you should have never said brothers."
I'm in the culture.
Like, "Oh nah, you're not a brother yet." Sorry.
I can say the N word. Like, nah,
It's like,
nah, player.
Cookout doesn't grant you that
Yeah,
place.
no, not at all.
You only get a hamburger and some.
Yeah, you are lucky you're here right now, dog.
Yeah.
You got to leave 2 hours before we finish up, though.
Yeah, you only get leftovers from this cookout. Nothing else.
You got to eat at that table.
Yeah. Now you're at the white people table.
Yeah, that's the non-melanated table over there.
You at the white people
Yeah.
table.
We just playing Michael Bublé for y'all over here. We got a real DJ on this side.
Stay on that side.
Yeah.
But so okay, so grew up in this farm here, and then you moved to a smaller, bigger city. But I guess also it'd be crazy not to touch upon Austin because we hear that a
Yeah,
lot
man.
about Austin.
I've been in and out of Austin since like I went to college at Texas State University, which is 30 minutes south of Austin.
Mhm.
And I actually used to skip class to go do acting jobs in Austin. They had like a pretty decent acting scene out there. I was doing commercials and different like background work with TV shows and movies. And so I've been in and out of Austin since 2011.
Mhm.
And then I moved back to Austin in 2021 when the big comedy boom happened. Because I was in LA when the pandemic happened. All of LA's infrastructure just collapsed on top of itself, and I was like, man, I got to get out of California. I can't do this anymore.
Yeah.
Because like the true colors of California came out because they preach like, oh, we're forward thinking and liberal
Right.
and stuff. Then when the pandemic happened, it was a whole different story, man. Like there was a point for about 4 weeks straight during the pandemic when the George Floyd protests were going on. LA County had a curfew of 6 p.m. But they weren't sending out the text message that the curfew was 6 p.m. until about 5:15 p.m. And so grocery stores were closing at 4 p.m. It was illegal to be at the beach. It was illegal to be out at a park. Once 6 p.m. came around, police were patrolling the streets, arresting people left and right
Wow.
that were just outside. And where the big I was in Claremont, California. So it was LA County, but about 25, 30 minutes east of downtown LA.
Mhm.
But where the big protests were happening in Hollywood, what they were doing, they would send the curfew text at 5:15 p.m. All the police would barricade the exits of Hollywood. And so once 6 p.m. came around, they were just arresting people left and right, left and
Ah,
right,
that's
left and right, left
crazy.
and right for like 4 weeks straight. And I was seeing that, and I was like, no, I gotta get out. Even in Claremont, where I was, man, once it was like 6:03 p.m., we could hear the police outside of our apartment, like on the intercom telling people to get inside or they're
Wow.
gonna get arrested. And that messed my head up. That really like
Yeah,
gave me a different type of trauma. So
that's
I was
like
like,
some
man,
dystopia stuff.
I gotta get out. I gotta get out. And I was in Atlanta for like 6 months during 2021. I was doing acting work out there. Comedy really wasn't back like that, but I didn't like Atlanta.
Mhm.
I was like, man, I got to get around some black people. I went to Atlanta. I was like, man, these niggas are stuck in 2003. This is different. This is a different type of energy. They too country for me, and I'm country, but like it was a different type of. It was 13 colony country. You know, that's not country I'm used to. You
Wait,
know,
wait, 'cause you came from a black Angus cattle farm.
yeah.
So how country was it in comparison to the country you came from?
So like Texas is the South, but it's the Texas South.
Okay.
You know, like, but once you get into that original 13 colony South, it's a different type of South. Like, I remember I would hike around in the woods in Atlanta and I would think to myself, like, man, like a couple 100 years ago, there were black folks running around out here trying to get away from slavery and stuff, you know,
Yeah.
and getting killed and lynched and stuff out here. So that energy kind of still lingers. It
Mm.
felt like it was lingering around the whole state of Georgia and stuff. And that, like, it was just kind of messing up my head. And so then June 2021, I started doing comedy again after like a year and a half off because of the pandemic. I was doing well in Atlanta, but the comics in Atlanta, nobody knew who I was. I came in doing pretty well, and so nobody was fucking with me. People
Mm.
were like just real like off-putting to me and kind of like, "What the fuck you think you are? Do do do. You coming in doing well? Do do do." It was real fuck you
Mm.
energy. So I was like, man, I started Googling what's the best comedy scene in America, and Austin kept popping up, and like news articles of the new Austin comedy boom popped up.
Mhm.
And most of my friends lived in Austin, and I'm familiar with Austin. So I was like, shit, I'm just gonna go back to Austin.
Right.
And so I was out in Austin for like 3 years straight, just comedy hustling every
Wow.
single night. And so I'm very like blessed for Austin. I love Austin. Like I love so many comedians out there. But like the comedy scene out there is very right wing, very conservative. It's a lot of edge lord shit.
I've heard.
And like my style of comedy is very silly, very goofy. I just want to bring joy to people and stuff. And I don't want to. I'm not trying to be an edge lord. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to say shit for the reaction. I don't care about that. I just want to like have some positivity and joy. But I got to get so much stage time in Austin. Like the first year and a half, because I moved to Austin when the first big wave of comedians went out there.
Mhm.
And so then that was before like Comedy Mothership opened up. That was
Mm.
before Sunset Strip opened up. And so it was a few clubs, like Creek in the Cave from New York had just moved out there.
Yeah.
And there was so many open mics. I would literally, for the first year and a half in Austin, dog, I performed 30 to 35 times a week, every
Wow.
single week.
Wow. That's a lot.
A lot, bro. I would literally do 5, 6 mics a night every single week
What?
for a year and a half. And then after a year and a half, more clubs started opening up. And then all the comics that were doing that open mic hustle like that, we start producing shows. You know, we
Mhm.
start getting booked in the clubs. And so it went from us doing a lot of open mics to us doing a lot of shows. And so
Mm.
I was like a crack fiend, dog. I was just on stage all the time because I was like, man, I got to get better. Because my first 2 years of comedy were rough. I was homeless in LA.
Oh.
Yeah, I was living in the back of a car. I wasn't any good. I was a slow burn for comedy. I didn't get good until like really 3 years in. But 2 years in, I made my first dollar off of comedy. I made $10 and 2 drink tickets in Austin. Shouts out to my queen Bianca Parado. That's my woman right there. She was the first person to ever pay me for comedy. And I was like, $10, 2 drink tickets? I'm a fucking professional comedian. You hoes better look out.
Let's go.
I'm a pro now,
two
dog.
drinks under me. Let's do it.
Exactly. And so, yeah, man, like Austin, like helped me out so much. But I feel like I feel like there was like a roof, a ceiling that I was hitting in Austin, especially like the past year, because I was getting better. I was writing a lot of jokes,
Mhm.
and this year, 2024, like I got to do the Comedy Store for the first time.
Nice.
You know, got invited back. I got to do like the Chicago Laugh Factory. Um, I was doing I did festival in Portland, the Northwestern Black Comedy Festival. I was starting
Nice.
to get out of Texas more and getting to perform in all these different cities. I got to do like DC, the DC Comedy Lounge,
Mm.
and I was doing really well. And
Mhm.
literally every single place that I was performing, people were like, "Hey, come back, whatever. We'll give you more time, pay you more." And I was like, "Okay, I'm either gonna go at the beginning of 2020, like March 2024. I was like, all right, I'm either gonna go to New York because I haven't done New York yet,
Mhm.
or I'm gonna go to London."
Mm.
And I was like, man, I already know what New York is. You know what I'm saying? I know what comedy in America is. Let's see if my comedy works internationally. And so then I jumped out to London, I did London for like 2 months. I went to Edinburgh for the Fringe Festival. I was there. I was only supposed to be there for like 10 days, ended up staying 18 days and do it. I did 64 shows
Wow, you
in
on it.
18. I was just like running around, but it really opened my mind up to and my perspective to wow, like, all right, I'm internationally funny. I can really make something shake out here. It's gonna take a lot of work. It's a huge risk because I literally just left my entire life. Like I just said peace
Mm.
and
But as of recent.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
I didn't know it was like that. Like you left your whole. I mean,
Left
wow.
left everything, man. Literally a year ago, I was delivering ice in Austin. During the day, I was delivering ice in the Texas heat, 40-pound bags of ice, about 2,000 pounds worth of ice a day.
Damn.
At night, I would go do comedy. I would just do that every day. And I don't know, I turned 31 this year, but in my 30s, I started to realize, like, man, I'm not getting any younger.
Mm.
And so I'm either going to do it fully or I'm not. So I'm either gonna jump or I'm not. And it felt like I was doing the comedy hustle. I was making money off of comedy in Texas, but it just felt like I can do so much more.
Right.
I just gotta trust it
Mm.
and do it, you
Where
know?
where did that come from? That did that come from because I almost share something similar, actually very specific in terms of, doing comedy in New York and then actually making a trip to Edinburgh. I didn't perform at Edinburgh, but just seeing the art and everything and the comedy. I would say more in general, the performances that was happening,
Yeah.
like just seeing like, oh wow, this is a different world out here. And then performing in London, that actually gave me like a idea or it sowed the seed of like moving out to Europe eventually. So
Yeah.
almost like the same thing. I'm like, yo, all right, like yeah, things shaking out here, like, and you
Yeah.
get more love out here too,
Way more love,
way
dog.
more.
Way more love. And just the amount of people that I've met out here that legitimately want to help me out is something I wasn't really getting like that in America. Like there's a lot of people that help me out in America, but the Edinburgh was crazy for me, man. Like a year ago, I didn't even really know what the Fringe was, right?
Mhm,
And I had some friends that from Texas. Shout out to Jimmy Clifford. Um, he was like, "You should go to Edinburgh. Like it's crazy. It's insane.
mhm,
You should go out there." And so I just went out there just with the intention of doing spots, but it got to a point, dog, where I couldn't walk outside in Edinburgh without people stopping me to take pictures. People were like, "Hey, I saw you at this show. Like, you performing anywhere else? Are you running your own show? I want to see a full hour from you." People were following me to shows. People were There was a few times, dog. I'm literally walking down the street and people are chanting my name, and I'm like, "All right, this is. I gotta not go back to
can't
America,
go back to America
bro."
after that, bro. Yeah, you.
While I was in Edinburgh, I canceled my flight back to America. I was like, "Fuck it, I'm gonna figure this out. I'm gonna just do it." Because the energy and intention was showing me like, "Hey," because if I go back to America, I'll just go back doing the same thing, you know.
Yeah,
And it's like I don't want to just keep doing the same shit. Is the stage time is great, cool, but I feel like I have enough tools in my tool bag now to really, expand out and really make a full, like, real fulfilling, meaningful career out of
mm,
this now, you know. And so yeah, I just been rocking and rolling. I got past some of the big clubs in London and stuff before I came out to to Germany.
Oh, nice. Which clubs?
Top secret.
Ah,
Yeah,
congrats on that,
yeah,
man.
man. Literally my last week of being in London, I got passed at top secret. And
Congrats,
the
bro.
first day they hit me up, I was like coming off of being, I was sick. I was super sick for like a week. And they sent me an email. They're like, "Hey, can you be here at 4 p.m.?"
Oh yeah, they usually do on the
And
per
I
day.
was like halfway dead. I was like, "I'm there." Boom. Next day, they emailed me again. "Hey, can you come do our late show tonight?" Absolutely. And then they're like, "Hey, we anytime you're here, let us know. We'll put you up." And so I was like, "Oh shit, this is
Nice,
crazy."
bro.
And then Up the Creek comedy club in London too was the same way. I got to do a show with them.
The Gong Show, right? Did you do Gong
Uh
Show first and then
I
this, or you
did
did like
the
a
yeah, their gong show,
yeah,
the
the
beat the
Gong Show,
light thing.
right?
Yeah, yeah, I did that. And they're like, "Hey, whenever you're here, let us know. Like we fuck with you." And so
Nah, bro.
yeah, so stuff just started like that was happening. And man, I have the faith of a mustard seed, you know, like
Yeah.
I'm constantly praying. Like I'm constantly just like keeping my faith strong because like I realize the opportunity I have in front of me and how rare it is. And it's like if I don't take full advantage, in my brain is like this will never happen again. Even
Mhm.
though it could, but in my brain I'm like, this is do or die for me. I
Mm.
have to just do it. And now I'm my own booking manager. My own booking agent. I'm
Yeah.
doing it all on my own too. But it's like people are really like rocking with it, and it's cool because I'm getting to bring the perspective of a black kid raised on a farm in Texas that I realize I haven't met nobody else
Hell no.
out here
Yeah, you're the first
that
black
has
person
that
I've
experience.
heard
Yeah,
or
yeah,
talked
yeah.
to that lived this life.
Yeah, so it's cool that I'm getting to because I don't write general jokes about stuff. I don't know how to do that. I don't know how to write a general joke. I just know how to talk about myself and my
Mhm.
experiences. And so it's cool that I'm getting to share my personal life and experiences with people that didn't know that black Americans are doing this. You know, because
Mm.
the stereotype of a black American is not how I was raised. Is not like where I came up. I was in my elementary school. There were two black kids, me and Ariana Jones.
Wow,
Yeah,
that's crazy.
yeah. There's 40, and there's only like 42 kids in my class.
Mhm.
Yeah, and only two of us were black.
Wow, so that's a different, yeah, that's a different type
Yeah,
of upbringing. And then you grew up on a farm too. I mean, even the assumptions. I ain't gonna lie to you, man. The one that kind of just, I mean, to even go back a little bit, is that when you was in Atlanta, you said there's a difference between. Because I ain't gonna lie, a person that grew up in the East Coast, we think of the South, just the South. So for
yeah,
you to even feel like, man, I felt like in Atlanta, this and this, and it's like too Southern. I'm like, what? Wait, but I mean,
yeah.
Texas is South and Atlanta is South. This is interesting, you know. So
But it
like,
is different kinds of South, man. And I really feel like that original 13 colony energy is really different and really affects those states differently, even still in 2024, because like this was America, only America at once,
mhm,
the US, like these 13 different states or whatever. And I feel like it kind of keeps those areas caught in the past a little bit, you know?
mm,
Because Texas is just, I mean, half of Texas used to be Mexico. Yeah, yeah,
interesting.
you know, and so it's
Okay.
like it's very southern, but it's just a different kind of southern. It's a Texas southern, you know.
Mm.
And I'm I'm probably biased too because I'm a Texan or whatever. It is like, yo, Texas greatest country in America,
Yeah.
but
Yeah, right.
you know what I'm saying.
That
But
is a
like,
saying.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's definitely a bias, but it's just it's very different. Like, and a lot of people that I've realized too, like out here in Europe and the UK, they don't know Georgia, but they know Texas. Everybody knows Texas. Texas, we and it's probably not for the best reasons
Yeah,
neither.
not for the
It's
best
not
reasons.
it's not for anything good. I guess the most
Mm.
positive thing people outside of America know about Texas is barbecue, you know, but everything else is probably more on a negative connotation type of thing or
Yeah,
whatever.
guns,
Yeah.
big everything, probably like obesity, all the
Yeah. Oh
yeah,
yeah.
that's probably where yeah, some of the big stereotypes come from Texas in terms of like, guns, obesity, this and that, everything large, which I mean, look,
It's true.
yeah, it's
It's,
true.
it's
Yeah.
100% true. It's 100% true. But there's Southern hospitality and then there's Texas hospitality.
Okay, what's the difference between the two?
I feel like Southern hospitality, like, we're kind to people. We're kind, even because like in Texas, I know plenty of rednecks,
Mhm.
but the sweetest people in the world. And it's because, oh, you're a Texan. I trust you. Every person that I've met outside of Texas that's from Texas, like that, instantly,
Mm.
instantly, instantly, instantly.
Wow.
But I feel like I'm not gonna say Mississippi because I don't feel like people from Mississippi leave Mississippi. Uh, but it's like I don't know. It's like it's almost cultish. It's almost cultish. It's like, oh, you're from Texas. Like, I'm from Texas. Okay, cool. We got each other's back.
Yeah, there's.
You
I mean,
know.
it's definitely a Texan culture.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's a huge type of culture, but oh, we're a proud state. We're very proud to be Texan.
Yeah,
Like,
got your own flag and
yeah,
everything. Yeah,
yeah.
like you
Even if
prominently.
like I never, I don't really have any like real intention of going back to America, but if I ever made base in America, it would only be Texas. I, yeah, I've been to 39 states in the U.S. I've been around almost the entire country. I would only live in Texas.
Wow. Okay, so aside from Texas, what are your top 3 states that you would like?
Top three states. I'm not gonna say state. I'll say cities
Okay.
because most states don't have shit that I really rock with. I love Austin. Is the best city in Texas, in my opinion. One of the best cities in the U.S. I love Denver until the winter time. Uh, I love New York for like 3 months at a time. It gets too loud for me in New York. I'm from the country, so it's like the constant sirens and
Yeah.
crackheads screaming at each other and just constant noise. Like, it'll drive me crazy after 3-4 months. San Diego is incredible city. San Diego is a very beautiful city, but I can't do like super cold places for too long. Like, if you got a steep winter, once that winter comes, I got to dip.
Well,
I got
Berlin is not the place for you then.
Yeah, no,
Shit.
man, I'm coming to find out. I'm like, this is y'all's fall. This is terrible. I'm cold as hell out here.
Bro.
This is fall. This isn't even winter yet. Oh my god. Yeah,
Yeah, this winter is no joke. I came in here thinking like, oh, New York was cold, so everything should be good. Nah, bro, that sun hides.
yeah,
That sun stays in it hibernates. I didn't even
yeah.
know a sun can hibernate for that long, bro.
That's
And
why all these white folks out here are so big because like they gotta
yeah,
like adjust to the winter.
I
Like
guess so. That
yeah,
or frail. I mean, like, the depression, everything. I mean,
yeah,
bro, it's to the point where you have to like manage your day. Like before this podcast, I had to walk outside in the sun because that's the only time I saw the sun. I'm like, I don't know
yeah.
if it's gonna be out in the next couple hours by the time we're done.
See, in Texas, like that's one thing I miss is the Texas sun. Because in Texas we have 2 days of winter.
Yeah, y'all
Yeah.
got so much. It's too much sun. It's like you guys got so much.
It's great though, man. I mean, the only place I've ever been in the world where the sky is as big as the sky in Texas is Rome.
Rome.
Yeah, the sky is
Mm.
really big in Rome. It reminds me of Texas in a
Mm.
weird way because I don't know, like the sky is just bigger in some places. In Texas, we have a huge sky, and I've never seen a sky that big besides Rome, Italy. They got a big ass. The sky is huge in Rome.
Interesting.
It's a weird thing, but that's the first thing I noticed when I was in Rome. I was like, wow, this sky is big as hell. Okay,
Man, the
yeah.
sky. It's interesting. Yeah, I mean, I never
I
been to
mean, because
Rome.
think like New York, the sky isn't that big because you got all the buildings and stuff. Or
Okay,
whatever.
here's actually an interesting point. I don't think I ever gave a fuck about the sky.
Yeah. Oh.
So I'm just realizing, I'm like, oh yeah, the sky has elements that, I mean, so I look at the sky, I'll be like, and isn't that?
Yeah.
But you actually observing
Yeah, man, I'm
the
I'm
size.
very aloof, and my brain is always just like out, and so I catch myself a lot of the times just looking up, just at the sky a lot, and yeah, the two biggest skies is Texas and Rome. Like the sky out here is the average size sky in Germany, very average size.
What is average size sky? What do you mean?
It's it might be a Texas thing, man. I don't know. It might just be a
I think it's
Texas
a
thing.
Texan thing.
I mean, we have a Leon Bridges. Yeah, we have a song called Texas Sun.
Texas is
'Cause
big on everything, even the sky.
Yeah, bro. The sky is huge in Texas. is huge.
So big food, big guns, big people, big
Yeah,
sky,
big sky,
big Texas.
big ass sky,
Big
yo.
ass sky, big Texas. We got the biggest in all of all the
Everything's
states.
bigger in Texas, dog. Even the
Yeah.
sky.
Even the
Even
sky's bigger.
yeah,
I ain't gonna
yeah.
lie. If it was somebody else that said that, I'm like, all right, let's relax. Okay, I know Texas has a lot of big everything, but the sky, all right, now we're reaching. All right,
Yeah.
you guys got the food, you got the barbecue.
It's like being in a giant like snow globe. I don't know. You just because if like I would in Sherman, man, like we we don't. There's no like city
Mm.
or whatever. It's grown like quite a bit in the past few years. In 2005, Sherman was the number one city in Texas for meth. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, because it's so country. You have a lot of like barns on 300 acres of land.
Mm-hmm.
Police ain't gonna smell nothing. You go out. I knew fifth graders that cooked meth.
What?
Yep,
Hold
yep,
on. They fifth graders that cook meth.
yep.
That is what. I mean, how did he go to school and just like, hey, look what I have? Like, what's?
There was one kid. It was my brother's friend. He got caught. I'm not gonna name
No,
drop.
please don't. I don't
Yeah,
want
he
my
might not even.
podcast.
Honestly, he might not even be alive. But he lived with his like 86-year-old grandmother,
Mm.
and she had like 300 acres of land and a barn that was just empty in the middle of the land. So she never knew what Aaron. Oh, just name drop.
All right.
She never knew what
We will.
her grandson was doing.
Yeah.
And he was just out there like cooking meth because you can't smell anything. The police aren't patrolling. They don't patrol in a town like Sherman because there's nothing to patrol.
Yeah.
And so he was just out there 12, 13 years old, cooking up meth and probably distributing and selling. For the longest time, I thought everybody that shopped at Walmart just had black teeth.
Wait, hold on. Okay, all right. So I'm glad you're saying this because I thought Sherman to be like a nice little quaint.
No,
Like, okay, so
no, no, no. Nice is not a word you describe Sherman. Sherman is the
Oh.
last town before you get into Durant, Oklahoma, which, if you know anything about Oklahoma, is
Nah, Oklahoma, everything is not
yeah,
pleasant.
no, it's not pleasant at
Right.
all. But yeah, it's just a lot of land. There's a lot of farmland, and like it, man. Meth heads they're a different breed, yo. They used to steal the copper out of our air conditioning units to sell because copper has a high value or whatever, and so they would steal copper, sell it, go buy meth with the money. But the
Damn.
thing is that also shows the tenacity and the determination that meth heads have, because like we're in a neighborhood, but it's not like your normal suburban neighborhood. All the houses are spread out because we're all on like 10, 15 acres of land.
Mm-hmm.
So they're going from 15 acres at a time going in, and everybody is armed out there. Everybody has guns, so they're risking their lives to go get this copper out of air conditioning units to sell to get money to buy meth.
That is,
Yeah.
I'm not there. We put all those things together. That is a lot of motivation.
Bro, a lot of motivation. Meth must be really, really good.
Yo, it must be good to risk your life over getting copper from an air conditioning.
Air
That is
conditioning
wild.
unit,
And it being a
yeah.
hot Texan sun, the big
Yeah.
sky.
They do it at night. They do it at night. They run around at night stealing copper from AC units.
Damn, that is. I would have never imagined that.
Yeah,
so
it's weird. But shouts out to the determination and tenacity. If they use that energy towards something more positive, there's a lot of meth heads that probably could have been millionaires.
yeah, it could have been at least a motivational speaker. At least
Yeah, something.
you know
But yeah,
that or sell some Cutco knives. I don't know either or, right? It just put them just. Here's another way,
Yo.
they be on parole, but like, hey, look, man, to get on parole, you got to sell these knives.
Bet, say less.
And give me the proceeds. We split it 80-20. I get 80, you get 20. That's hilarious. So Sherman was okay. So because when I hear farm and I hear the South and everything, I'm thinking nice, but
Nah.
clearly this was not. Yeah, fifth graders cooking up meth. That sounds worse than New York. That's crazy.
Yeah. And Sherman is one of those places, it's like that small town mentality. I know plenty of people that I went to grade school with, kindergarten, first grade, and they got married, work at the school, kids do the same thing. People don't leave Sherman.
Mm,
The closest airport is the Dallas airport, which is like 60, 70 miles away. So it's not like a place where people get out.
wow.
Yeah. So just the fact that I left Sherman is a big deal.
Have you ever went back?
My dad, after my parents divorced, my dad actually went and bought a house in the nicer part of Sherman, um, as nice as Sherman can get.
Mhm.
And so I've been back like once or twice, and I I went back during the Trump era, and I actually went and saw my old house that I grew up in, and all the houses in that neighborhood all had like the Trump signs. They were staring at me while I was driving through, and I was like, "Okay, Sherman's still Sherman. All right, y'all haven't lost that." Yeah, it's different, man.
Oh,
Yeah.
shit.
So I would you couldn't pay me $1 million to live in Sherman again.
Not after all
No,
that.
no, 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 no. But it's still I don't know. I claim Sherman though. I claim Sherman. Sherman definitely uh raised me, but it was getting out of Sherman is a big deal because a lot of people don't get out. A lot of people
Mm,
get stuck there for their entire life, and just the fact that like Hollywood, the idea of Hollywood in Sherman is not real. Hollywood is just something that exists on TV in a place like Sherman.
wow, 'cause
People
so
don't actually go to Hollywood. People don't actually live in Los Angeles. People don't really live in New York. Like it's not a real thing to people in Sherman.
oh, wow, so it's that small, like, town mentality. That is
Super small town mentality, man, and
damn.
it's a cycle. It's just a cycle, and you marry the person you went to first grade with. You have kids. The kids go to the same school. You work at the school. They have kids. It just recycles itself, and it's a
So
trap. It's a
interesting.
vacuum. It's a vacuum.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always be thinking about that when people stay in the same town and stuff. And but at the same time, on the flip side, I guess is kind of what people look for whenever they go into a new town of like it being not too new, but like still
Yeah.
old at the same time. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. Well, it's a scary thing because like it's not expensive to at all to live in Sherman, compared to living in an actual city.
mhm.
You don't have to work real. You just work on a farm, make enough bread. You got your little small apartment. Sherman actually just got its first Indian restaurant a few years ago.
Is it authentic Indian?
It's good food. I don't know how authentic it is, but
I mean,
and
cause
but
yeah,
also these are probably the only Indians that live in Sherman
yeah.
too.
I mean, cause
Sherman has never, bro.
woo,
When I was growing up, we had one Mexican restaurant and Papa John's pizza, and the
Papa
rest was
John's is out
just
there even.
we had one Papa John's, yeah. And
Wow.
man, when we got to get Papa John's, it was a party, bro.
Mm.
What we getting pizza delivered? Oh my gosh. It would take them forever though, because it was like 30 minutes away from our house. But man, just the fact that we got Papa John's delivered, oh, it was a party. It was a party.
Did you have like Whataburger there or something or
So
McDonald's or
in Sherman, I think Sherman has a Whataburger now, but they had a Watson burger.
Watson
So it was
Burger?
almost Whataburger, but not quite. It was like a bootleg Whataburger. Yeah. We had one Sonic. We had a McDonald's. Everybody hung out at Walmart.
Yeah.
Um, when I was like a year or two before we moved from Sherman, we got a Target, and that we lost our mind. We got a Target and a Best Buy. Oh my gosh.
A
Oh, we
wrap.
coming up now. What? Sherman is 5 stars now. We got a Target and a Best Buy now. This is crazy.
You can get gains from 2 different places?
Yeah,
Crazy.
bro. First, like when we would have to go to like Best Buy or a store like that, we would have to drive literally into Dallas, into Frisco or Plano, which was, an hour away. And it was a big deal. I remember being a kid, being excited just to be inside of a Target, being inside of Best Buy. I was like, yo, what the fuck? This isn't Walmart.
Uh,
This isn't Sam's Club. We're actually in a Best Buy right now.
Sam's Club. Yeah.
Yo, yeah.
Ooh.
Is different, man. We had a skating ring too. Everybody would have their birthday party at the Sherman Denison skating rink, and that was really all Sherman had. Yeah, and a Lowe's.
Okay, yeah, Lowe's, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, not a Home Depot, but a Lowe's.
we got a Home Depot when Target came in.
Interesting. So Lowe's came for Home Depot.
Yeah.
Ah, I would assume Home Depot first.
No, it was Lowe's. We were
Wow,
Blue
because Home
Gang.
Depot, they got a lock on a lot of places,
Yeah.
especially on small town places. So Lowe's, they came in early.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Ah, so they made a
Yeah.
smart investment.
Yeah,
It was like,
yeah.
oh, we saw that fifth grader cooking up meth. Let's get in
We
early.
gotta
Real estate is
get
low.
in here.
Ain't no the prices on this land, it must be cheap.
Yeah, we didn't have much, but yeah, as a kid, it was just McDonald's, Lowe's, Sam's Club, Walmart, and really that's Sherman. That was Sherman, Texas.
Damn.
Yeah, and we had a mall. It wasn't big at all. I thought it was huge as a kid, but then I went there like a little bit older, and I was like, oh, this isn't even a mall. This shouldn't even be able to be called a mall. This is
Yeah.
crazy, but it had a 25-cent movie theater in it. Yeah.
Oh, so I mean, yeah, that was
Yeah, yo, we live in large in Sherman, and we had a Goodwill. Yeah, we had
Goodwill.
the
Okay.
yeah, thrift
Yeah,
store.
Goodwill's everywhere. Yeah,
Yeah,
everywhere is gonna have a Goodwill. They set up shop everywhere.
yeah, but it was just super, super duper small town living and stuff, and so, man, just the fact that I'm in Europe right now, being from Sherman, that's an
Ooh.
accomplishment in and of itself, Like, I don't come from really much at all, I'm just a cowboy farm kid, you know?
That's out here
That's
dressing like Jimi
Yeah,
Hendrix and like
exactly.
three other famous light skinned
Yeah.
dudes.
Well, that's also because like both my parents were born in the 50s. Like my dad was born in 1950. He was being on more vet. My mom was born in like 58. Um, and I'm biracial too. So it was illegal for they grew up in a time when it was illegal for them to be together. Like segregation was still happening when my dad was growing up.
Mm.
Like so it's like but I was raised on music from like the 50s, the 60s, the 70s, the 80s and stuff. I was raised on all that real old, just groovy ass psychedelic rock and roll music and stuff,
I see. I see
Yeah.
now. Okay.
All of that is like my parents are the reason why I, dress the way I dress. Cause I was raised like but my first album that I ever got from my mom was a Jimi Hendrix album, and I was like 8 years old, 9 years old.
Oh, bro, that influenced the hell out of
Yeah.
you.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, dog. 100%.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And my pops, he was listening to like the Gap Band and like Meatloaf, and he loved Jimi Hendrix too. And I was, raised on Prince and
Oh yeah,
just all
bro.
this like super groovy music. So I'm very grateful for that because that wasn't happening in Sherman. That type of music wasn't going on. It was just country. I love country music. I'm a
Hmm.
country kid, Texas kid, but like my parents really, really influenced me with, the type of media and stuff that they were showing me. And even like comedy wise, the very first special I ever watched was Afros and Bell Bottoms by Sinbad.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. But the comedy special that made me want to do
Hmm.
comedy, Killing Them Softly, Dave Chappelle. Like
Yeah. Killing soft.
that's when I saw that for the first time, that's when I was like, I want to do that. I
Mm.
want to do that. Yeah, comedy scared the hell out of me because I didn't start until I was like 26.
Hmm.
But single handedly, Dave Chappelle's "Killing Them Softly" was this is it. This is really it. Yeah,
Ah.
this is the thing. Yeah,
That is wow, yeah. It's always crazy when you think back to what like influenced you, not influenced you, but what set that spark for you to actually want to do comedy.
yeah,
And
man.
I know for me it was like I mean Comic View, that was just always in the background. Comic View,
Yeah,
then Premium Blend that used to be on Comedy Central.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
That yeah, that was always just and then what then you had what's the name? What's the name? That dude had that one show, Insomnia. And he's at the cellar, he's he's always dressed down. Damn, I forgot the guy's name. Why am I blanking on his name? Anyways, I'm pretty sure somebody will figure that out. But yeah, no, comedy influences is always dope and to always like think about it. But I'm curious about this European trip here, right? Because
Yeah.
I mean, where you came from, Sherman, Texas, right? To now here in Europe, like, well, I mean, it's for the second time. So, what was the first country you came to when when you made your trip here?
I went straight to the UK. I went straight to London.
Yeah. Okay.
Because my perspective on comedy was still I knew these different countries were doing English speaking comedy, but it
Mhm.
still was like my perspective was very like small because I didn't realize to the degree of, oh, you actually can go to these places and perform. And so I knew that London was like the biggest, one of the biggest comedy scenes outside of America. And I was like, oh, I'll just, go to London, do spots, whatever, figure it out. And then I was doing well in London, doing really well. London's expensive as shit though. And like,
Very expensive, bro.
man, it's so expensive. And I was just trying to figure out, immigration shit and stuff like that. Figured out how to do it. But it was like, I'm just gonna go to London, hustle, whatever, and then I'll leave. And then it was really the fringe that opened up my mind to doing comedy, out here in these European countries. You can do comedy in Asian countries, you can do comedy in African countries. It's literally everywhere. And so once I started performing, I got to headline a few shows in London. And just the fact that I would do spots in London and people would come up to me and be like, "Hey, are you touring? Like, I want to see a full 30 minutes. I want to see a full hour." So then my brain was like, people want to see you do comedy. Like I'm very confident in myself. I always knew I was good, but it was like still because in Austin, I was performing every night, but it's, you're just doing 10-minute spots, 12-minute spots, 15-minute spots. Every once in a while, you'll get a 20-minute spot in Austin. But I would go to small towns in Texas, these little redneck towns, and headline and stuff.
Mm.
And so I was headlining, spots in America and stuff. But when I went to the UK, and my intention was just, oh, I'm just gonna stay in London or whatever. And then I got invited to by a comedian, Jason Rouse, to perform with him. He's a Canadian comedian that I met in Austin, and he started like kind of mentoring me a little bit once I
Mm.
got out of America. And he was like, you this is a good thing. Like you're starting to see, what the comedy world really is and stuff.
Mhm.
And so I went to after I left London, I went to Stockholm, Sweden, to perform with him.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and they invented white people there. That that shit was the whitest place I've ever been in my life, yo. But it was the comedy shows were so much fun, and I was like, damn, like I'm funny in front of a Swedish crowd. All right, cool. Like let me and he gave me a book recommendation, How to Be Your Own Booking Agent.
Mm.
And I read that it's more so it was written for musicians, but it applies to comedy. You can apply, what's in the book to comedy. And I read that and I just started, bro. I have hit up probably every single comedy, every single city in Europe that has English comedy, I have contacted.
Wow.
Yeah. And so I got some really cool cities that I'm getting to headline in November, that I'm super excited about. But it started to like really just open up my mind, and then I people kept telling me that the Berlin scene is like really great. Like there's a
Yeah.
lot of spots and stuff out here, and so came out here. I love this city. It's an incredible city. There's a griminess to it that like it's like a good grimy.
Mm.
It's weird because it's very balls to the wall. It's very rock and roll energy out here and stuff
Right.
too, especially with how the comedy scene is out here. And so I was just like, I'm gonna go to Germany for a little minute and do spots. And it's so easy to get to all these different Europeans. It's like 130 euros to get to Cairo, Egypt from Germany.
It's yeah, it's
You're like
crazy.
you're so close to everything, and so I'm like, all right, like, because the worst people can say is no, and no's not gonna kill me, but there's people saying yes.
Probably a lot too.
Yeah, it's like, oh shit, okay, like let's just make it happen. Let's just do it. Let's
Mhm.
take a risk. Let's make the investment in ourselves because it's all gonna come back to us tenfold. It's all gonna come rolling back, and so yeah, it's like. And I can still get to the UK because I planted roots in London and different cities in the UK, so I can still get over there easily, work, leave, go somewhere else.
Right.
I'm wherever people ask me like, "Where are you based out of?" I'm like, "Wherever I am at the moment." Wherever I am, and that's just where I'm at. You know, I do my best to be a feather in the wind. I don't. I try not to think too much about stuff. I just do my best to just trust in everything, and wherever I am is just where I'm at, and that's where I'm at.
Mm,
And so and I feel like with comedy, like the difference between comedy and music is I don't need any instruments. I don't need any special equipment. I just need to show up. If
right.
y'all got a microphone and amplified noise, boom. Even
Let's
if y'all
go.
don't, I have theater training, dog. I know how to speak from my diaphragm. I can fill a room like
Oh, you got
with my
theater
voice.
training.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I studied theater in college before I dropped out.
Ah,
Yeah, yeah,
okay.
yeah, yeah. So I have a extensive acting background, like a really extensive. Because before I was doing comedy, I was acting, and
Nice.
yeah, I got a few credits under my belt and stuff.
Nice.
But that's why I was in L.A. I went there specifically for acting, and then started doing comedy out there. But the all this weird shit we've been hearing about Hollywood and the acting industry the past like 5 to 10 years, that shit is true, man. It's a gross industry. It's disgusting out there, and people are weird, and people take advantage, and people are energy vampires, and just try to take advantage of young people like hustling
Mm,
that don't know any better and stuff. And I started to see a lot of weird shit happen around me, coming at me when I was in Hollywood. And morally, it felt wrong. And I realized I'm not going to go against what I feel is morally correct
mm,
because it's not going to sit right with me. And I try not to think too much about stuff because I overthink everything.
right.
And so if I do something that I feel is morally incorrect, that doesn't sit right with my soul, with who I am, I'm gonna go down just a rabbit hole and probably commit suicide. You know what I'm saying? Like on some real shit. So it's like I started just seeing like the grossness of Hollywood and the acting industry. And I was doing I was acting in Atlanta. I did like a few like short films. I got to do some TV stuff in Atlanta, but I kept middle-aged white casting directors kept calling me niche, and it started to bother the fuck out of me.
Really? They consider you niche?
Yeah. Yeah, which is like I get where they're coming from, but it's like in Hollywood in the acting industry, most of the casting people are white,
Mhm.
middle-aged white people, and I explain it as they just got used to Wakanda niggas. You know what I'm saying? And so,
Wakanda
yo,
niggas.
for real. And so their perspective in the acting
Mm,
industry in America of black people is very one dimensional, is very two dimensional or whatever. And so they wouldn't know where to categorize me because I don't fit what their stereotype, what they think of black people are. I don't fit
mhm,
that description to them or whatever because they just have a one dimensional view of us and
right.
stuff. So it's like, they're sending me out for like, oh, you're going to audition for this gangster role. My nigga, like anybody can look at me and be like, they're not gonna be like, "Oh, that's a gangster."
Yeah,
That's
right?
that's a real like, like drug dealer, hustler and stuff. And it
Yeah.
was like I was getting sent out for this stuff, but then also all these middle-aged white people that cast stuff were just calling me niche. And it felt like they were calling me a nigga. And it was bothering me so much. Like it felt gross. And the last time it happened, I was in like some Zoom call with some casting directors out of Georgia. And this one woman, she was like, "You have a great look. You're talented. Your reel is really good, but you're just so niche." And it like clicked in my head, and I got to a point where I was like, "You know what? Fuck all of y'all.
Mm,
I'm gonna go full in on this comedy thing because I don't need any of y'all to tell me I'm talented. I know I'm talented. I don't want to keep, trying to impress these fucking white casting directors. I don't care anymore. I'm gonna go do this comedy thing. I'm gonna get on stage as much as possible, and I'm just gonna show everybody like what I can do. And then it'll get to a point where y'all are gonna be asking me to come do you're not gonna ask me to audition and stuff. You're gonna ask me to like please come do this project, like come work with us or whatever. Because it was just like I got tired of trying to impress these people that really don't even give a fuck about me. And
mhm.
it's like I'll do it myself. You know, like fuck
Right.
all that. Like I don't want y'all's approval. I don't care about your approval. I don't and stop calling me niche. It's making me uncomfortable. Like I don't
Yeah.
it feels weird like or whatever. And it's like just this and it's a very American thing too, man. This fucking one-dimensional view of like what
Box you in and shit.
yeah, what people see black people as and it like just it was just bothering me so much and yeah, so just went full force on this comedy thing and just, figuring it out one day at a time, but it's now I'm at a point where things are really falling into place for me, like, stuff is just falling into place, so I just gotta keep praying and keep working, honestly.
I mean, sure, you're doing it. I mean, for one, for you to even make the jump and go out here, that's like a big thing. And this is coming from somebody who did it too. Like I did it
Yeah.
very like
Yeah, how
business.
was I've been into because I've heard you say, you just kinda came out here with a backpack and a carry-on,
Yeah.
like, suitcase. What happened?
It's a good question.
Yeah, like, how'd you get to that point?
Yeah. So actually, so I'll give like the recent one and maybe tie it back into like the Edinburgh
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
But so me and a friend of mine, his name is Alex Payne. He's out from New York City. Him and I, we did like a little small European tour. So we like started in Paris. Then we went to went to Amsterdam, Rotterdam. Then we went to Berlin, and then we came back to Paris. So he's doing all these places, and again, like same thing you're saying that when we're doing these stages, we're getting like a lot of love, and it just felt cool. Like
Yeah,
people were meeting other comedians. They're just like they world travelers. They're going out to Europe, other places. They're telling us about other places like Berlin and
yeah,
all these other spots they touring. I'm just like, wow, it just seemed like so exciting. And we also met some people who are comedians in Berlin that was in Paris doing their thing. So they was telling us about like, yo, Berlin is dope. Hit us up.
yeah,
Let us know when you're here and stuff. So when we came out here to Berlin, again, we was here for like maybe 4 or 5 days. And those 4 or 5 days, we doing like a lot of spots. So I was like, yo, all right, we're doing like a lot of
yeah,
spots out here. And it felt a little bit like New York City, the way like the vibes are to some extent, like it's a city. I'm like, all right, so I kept that in mind. Went back to Paris. Paris was there. Paris is all right. I mean, if you don't speak French, it's very difficult to blend in,
yeah.
because they definitely make you suffer if you try to learn how to speak French. Like, if you don't say the words right, they just kind of like, I don't know what you're talking about. It's like, I'm pointing at the water right there. Oh, like
Yeah.
kafto right there. But
Y'all got American TV out here, you know what the fuck I'm talking
yeah,
about, man, come on, dog.
yeah, you understand. You understand sign language of pointing this here. I want
Yeah.
this. I'm saying a word. Just put it in a glass. It's water. Stop making me like suffer with your words.
Yeah.
Right. So Paris was like, it was all right. You know what I mean? So then he went up to London, and then I went to Berlin. So when I came to Berlin, at first I only had like for a week or something. So a week I was doing spots and stuff. And again, I had friends that I met in Paris who was out here now or was from here and then went out to Paris, came back. And as I was here, I was kind of like almost living a life, so to speak, out here. So, one of my other friends, his name is Pascal. He's like, "Yo, man, if you're around, man, you got to really experience Berlin, like in the springtime. You got to be out here for the 1st of May. It's like the Labor
Yeah.
Day thing." So I was like, "All right." I mean, so I canceled my ticket, right, and then extended it. And then as I was staying, I'm like, "Oh man, I'm living a life." Like at the time, I was working remotely, so then I will kind of work remotely, go get some food with some friends who are also working. So it just felt like I was building a life at
Yeah.
nighttime. So it felt like New York City, but like in a capsule of Berlin.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I kind
yeah.
of started seeing myself here. And then eventually one of my comedian friends, it just out of nowhere, it was like, yeah, so when are you gonna move here? I'm like, when am I gonna move here? We talking? I don't know, bro. I just got here. This is
Yeah.
April last year. I'm like, or May last year. I'm like, I don't. It's like, yeah, man, you can get the artist visa. I was like, what's that? The artist visa is a visa they can give to you based on your art, like based on you being an artist and the amount of money you can make from that, and they'll give you a visa. So I was like, oh, I never heard of that. All right, cool. And then there's another comedian where I asked her about it, and then she gave me like the full details. I'm talking
Yeah.
about like in a way that I'll be like, this is a sign from the universe that I should make this move. Like
Yeah,
she was
yeah.
like, you need to go at this time. And as soon as you wake up, you go to this page exactly, and this button will be available for you to click. You go on any other time, it will not be available. I went at that time, bro. That button was available. Clicked it, got it for an appointment for the artist visa. I was like, this is a sign.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
So then at that point I came back to New York. No, so this after all this, I left. I came to New York. I think I asked her about it. She gave me that information. Once I got the information, then I was like, I started moving around New York different, man. I was just like, I don't think I was like, yo, this a bigger world out here, man. And like literally my brain was disconnected from New York. It was more in Berlin.
Yeah.
So like it was literally to the point where I was just like, yeah, man, I think I'm gonna make the move.
Yeah.
That I read this book called Die with Zero, which is about like, living life in a way where you try to use all your money in the time that you're alive. So you're not dying with too much money in the bank, but you're dying with a fulfilled life and you're dying with zero,
Yeah. Yeah.
basically.
Yeah.
So that kind of just put me in this path of like, I think I'm gonna move, man, because like, yo, I'm getting a lot of love out there. There's people literally giving me the detailed breakdown
Yeah.
of like, here it is. People even are like, yo, so when's your next show? When's your next show? I don't get that. Like that don't happen in America like that unless you're like
No.
famous.
Yeah.
Like even funny motherfuckers, like even funny people that we both know, we know that no one's looking for them like that.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
gotta
Yeah. Yeah.
fight to just be seen. So I'm like, all right, yeah. So then I started selling everything in New York, sold everything. And well, I tried to sell everything. Most of it just got put on the curb. So there's a
Yeah.
lot of money that I could have gotten from selling it, but I just didn't. And yeah, I put everything into a carry-on suitcase and a book bag. I wanted to keep everything lean because I didn't know where I was going to stay. Actually,
Yeah.
the only place I had to stay was my friend's. Shout out to Eunice, his couch, and maybe like a potential staying at a hostel for a little bit to blend it in between, and an Airbnb.
Yeah.
So like it was like three places where because the Airbnb wasn't available at the time while I was gonna come, so hostel. And yeah, I just came out here, man. I started packing. I started packing all my stuff 3-4 hours before my flight time leaving New York. So
Oh,
literally,
damn.
it's like,
Yeah.
damn, should I bring my notebooks? Damn, I can't fit in
Yeah.
here. Damn, I can't fit my jacket. I guess I gotta leave in the
You doing that
apartment.
rock and roll shit too, man.
Rock and roll
Yeah,
stuff,
man.
man.
Like it's the America is cool. Is uh, it's it's America's America. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Doing comedy out there is cool, but it's like one of the biggest reasons I do comedy and why I love comedy is just the amount of people you can meet doing it, the places you can go doing it, because it gets to a point in your comedy career where if you're good enough, you can do anything. You can really work in any field if you really want to work in a different type of field, if you're good at comedy, you can pretty much work in any field, Like
Right.
I used to earlier this year, before I got out of America, I MC'd a dance competition.
What?
Yeah, MC'd a dance competition, national
What?
dance competition. I went to the first 5.5, 6 months of the year. I went to 20 different cities in the United States. Every single weekend, I was in a different city. And during the day, I would MC these dance competitions. At night, depending on which city I was in, I would go and do comedy.
Bro,
Yeah.
what?
But it's like, and the funny thing is, the first year I took a few years off from the dance competition, but the first year I did the dance competition, I started doing comedy too, because I just loved talking, and I like to talk.
Yeah.
I just like talking, and if it's conceited, I like the sound of my own voice. I really do. You know what I'm saying? Like
It's just
I
so
c-
conceited.
I
I'm
can't.
sorry.
Yeah, it is. I know it is, but like I can't help it.
I was trying to be like,
Yeah,
huh,
yeah, no,
yeah,
no, no. I
understand. I'm
do,
like,
I
nah,
do.
that does.
I like the sound of my voice or whatever. And so I was emceeing these
Wow.
dance competitions in 2019, and then I was like, man, I really just like having this microphone in my hand. I like
Mhm.
talking to crowds. Let me go and start doing comedy. Comedy, that was terrible my first 2 years, but it's like
Yeah, it happens, yeah.
comedy can just get you into so many places and that aren't even comedy related, really. You know what I'm saying? Comedy adjacent, but not.
Mhm.
And yeah, it's I I do my best to like not get caught up in the because it's a hard career. It's an
Very hard.
extremely hard career. It's a hard job, but also at the end of the day, dog, we're just telling jokes. We're
Mm.
just here to make people laugh. We're not doing rocket science. We're not building robots. We're not sending people to the moon. We're just here to make people laugh. And like I try not to take it too serious, because at the end of the day, bro, people just want to laugh. People need to laugh. Let's provide that. Let's not get all caught up in the logistical business. I still like take care of your business, take care of the logistics so you can actually make it into a business.
Mhm.
But at the end of the day, it's just jokes. And like I love talking to comedians, especially when they get all like real serious and like bent
Mm.
up and it's like, dog, breathe.
Yeah. Come on, what's my laugh per minute? What's going
Yeah,
on? You
no,
know?
we're here to just give people some joy. You know, we're here to just like make people happier because the people that come to comedy shows, you don't know what, they did during the day. They probably had a shitty day. They probably got Mark in the office that keeps eating their lunch or something. They got a boss that makes them uncomfortable. They maybe had like somebody honking at them while they were driving like to there. They're trying to get away from their life and just not think about the world burning
Mhm.
for an hour. Like we just facilitate positivity and like a good time or whatever. It's the best like job in the world and it's like still a job nonetheless, but like so many comedians like we get even myself, I have to like check myself sometimes like, "Hey, bro, calm down. Chill out.
True.
I'm here to just make people laugh. I'm not here to do anything that profound."
Yeah.
You know?
It's a tough business. I mean, as Patrice O'Neal said, man, it's like comedy is funny, the business is not.
Yeah, the business is not. The business aspect sucks, and especially like in just what one thing I liked about London and I kind of dislike at the same time whenever you go to some place where there is a pretty thriving comedy scene, but nobody knows you, you got to like prove yourself, and I don't mind doing that, but it's also like dog, I'm telling you, I'm good at this or whatever. We're like, oh yeah, whatever. Dude, everybody says they're good at comedy. It's like, all right, give me 5 minutes. Just give me 5 minutes. Watch what I can do in 5 minutes. All right, like just trust me or whatever. And it's like, bro, when I to get into Top Secret, I was harassing them when I got back from Edinburgh.
Yeah, because bro, to get in top, that's they ain't no. I mean, I have some friends that are passed at that, but they ain't no like they ain't no regular process. I
Bro,
mean,
I after Edinburgh, I went to Top Secret, showed up. I was like, hey, can I talk to Mark? They were like, Mark's not here. He's on vacation. All right, cool. How do I perform here? They're like, oh, we booked day of. Send us an email. Send them an email. A week later, didn't hear nothing back. I showed back up again. I was like, hey, is Mark here? Mark actually was there. He was like, yeah, send us an email. Do. I stepped outside. I sent the email. I walked back in. I said, hey, I just sent the email. Like, and he kind of was like, oh, you're like persistent. Like, okay, like cool. Like, kind of leave us alone. And then they finally like, but I sent it from a different email because I
ah,
didn't want them to be like, damn,
smart
this dude
move.
emailed us twice from the same email.
Yeah,
Who is this crazy person? But
right.
I was literally, dog, I'm one of those type of people. I am going to just show up until I don't even need a full like 10 minutes. I got lucky with Top Secret because they gave me like a full 10 minutes my first set, which
Nice. Yeah.
rarely happens or whatever. But like even with Cosmic out here, last week I showed up. I was like, hey, like, who's the owner? Darmander? Hey, can I speak to Darmander? He's not here yet. All right, cool. I'll just wait here for him. Walks in. Hey, what's up, man? Like, I'm Jordan. I'm from Texas, man. I'm, comedian out here. Love to perform. Oh, I don't have any like spots coming up. All right, that's cool. I'm gonna just keep showing up. I'll just keep showing up until you put me on stage. Oh shit, you put me on stage. Like, here's the amount of time I got. All right, cool. Watch me rock out. Oh shit, you invited me back. Like, because it's like I, you have to believe in yourself in this shit.
No, you know you
And it's
have to
like,
for a
dog,
fact.
like I'm gonna harass you until you put me on stage. And if you put me on stage that first time and I don't do well, cool. Like I understand,
It is what
whatever.
it is.
But like it is what it is. I didn't, do well to your standards. But in my brain, I'm going to do well to yours. In my every time I'm on stage, regardless if it's like just a small shit room or like a legit, like really good club,
Mhm.
in my brain, I'm at sold out show, Showtime at the Apollo.
That's a good
Every single
mindset.
time, every single time, even when I was just only doing open mics and not making any money at all, it was like Showtime at the Apollo, Showtime at the Apollo. But I will like get on your nerves until you put me up, and then I'll chill
Mm.
out because then it's like, hey, now you just, I showed you the product. You react however you want to react, but I don't mind harassing you. I don't mind annoying you. I really don't.
Yeah,
I
I mean,
don't
you
care.
you do need that though. I know some people that done that and they got them very far, and like that has been like one of the qualities that
Yeah.
like. of that persistence and belief and being
Yeah.
like, oh yeah, that's yeah.
Because dog, like nobody's going to believe in you the way you're gonna believe in you. If you really believe it, like no, that's why like I've been trying to like find like management and stuff too. And I've had managers in the past, but I've realized I'm going harder for myself still. I need somebody that's gonna go as hard as I will go for myself on this like more logistical end. Oh, you're not going that hard? Cool, whatever. Like I'll figure it out myself. Like,
Mhm.
but it's it's almost like a disease. It's a sickness. It's not healthy. It's really not because it's like if I put this type of energy into drugs, I'd be on the street, cracked out or whatever, strung
Yeah.
out, whatever. But it's like I just put this type of weird addictive energy into this craft of comedy, and it's like if you want to get rid of me, let me perform once, and if I do bad, I'll leave you alone for the rest of your life. But
Mm.
guess what? I don't believe that I'll ever do. I like everybody says like, "Yo, you bomb all the time." I bombed one time. I've had shows where it's like, "Oh, I didn't do well. I wasn't that proud of myself."
Yeah.
I don't like how comics are like, "Oh, you're gonna bomb a lot."
All right.
Fuck that.
Okay, here. Okay.
Fuck that thinking.
So now we got to delineate that, not delineate, but to set the definition. What's your definition of bombing?
So my definition of bombing, I always go back to my second time doing comedy all the time. I was in LA. I was in North Hollywood. I was in like this weed lounge.
Mhm.
And so I was like, oh, everybody's like smoking weed or whatever. And like
Ah.
I smoke, but like this was a different
Yeah.
type of like
All right.
smoking culture that I wasn't really used to. So I was just like smoking or whatever. And I remember I was bombing so bad. I had an out of body experience in the middle of my set. Literally, it felt like my spirit was floating behind me, watching me, going, "This is not going well for you." I did so bad, I quit comedy for a year and a half.
Well, I don't think that's bombing. I think that's you just dying. Like,
Yeah, oh yeah, yeah, bro. No, it was the bomb killed me. The bomb killed me.
Fucking killed
No,
you.
it literally killed me.
You saw your body on stage, and you going up to heaven. You like, oh damn,
Yo, yeah,
I
literally
can't believe I went out
dying.
like that.
And I was like,
Oh.
man, fuck comedy. I'm never doing this shit ever again. And then a year and a half later went by. Bro, it was horrible. It was so bad. It was
Out-of-body
so bad.
experience
It was
bomb.
so bad, dog.
Yo, I never heard somebody pop an
I've
out
n-
of body.
I've never had that experience ever again, though. But
Yeah.
I quit for a year and a half. I was like,
Oh.
I'm never doing
You
this
only
shit.
die once,
Yeah.
depending on what you believe in. But
Man, that shit made me. I was devastated.
damn.
Devastated. And then year and a half, I had a friend, Mike Fallon. He was doing a show in downtown LA, and they had an open mic afterwards. And I just went to support him. I had no intentions of performing. And he was like, "Man, you should sign up for the open mic." I was like, "Nah, I'm good, bro. I'm just here to," because I remembered dying on stage
Yeah.
a year prior or whatever. And he was like, "Man, just sign up for the open mic." I was like, I'm not doing that." He goes, "Man, stop being a fucking bitch." And I was like, "All right,
That's
all right,
that.
dog.
Yeah, that's
all right,
yeah.
all right, nigga. Like, all right, bet, cool,
That's all they gotta say
Bet.
for you to do it.
say less."
Oh, shit,
And
it's so simple.
I performed, and by no means like I didn't do great at all. But I remember I got like a few laughs, and then there was a comic there that was on the showcase that he was touring with Conan O'Brien,
Oh,
and he was smoking a cigarette on the patio after my performance, and I just went out there to get some air, drink some water, and he was like, "Hey man, like that wasn't really that good, but you have it, but you got it," and I was like, "Okay, all right." And just hearing that from an actual professional touring working comedian, that was enough for me to get the bug. And then that's when I just started hitting it every single night, every single night,
Wow.
every single night. Yeah. But that was the end of April 2019. But the astronomical death bomb was in 2018. So like I tell people I started in 2019, but my first time being on stage was actually 2018.
All right.
Whatever. But I haven't bombed since that second one.
Yeah.
I've definitely had performances where I'm like, man, fuck.
Yeah, come here. Everyone bombs,
Yeah,
but like,
yeah.
yeah, because that's all I wanted to know.
But it's like a bomb, like
yeah.
when I
But
was,
no,
bro,
nigga,
my-
nah,
I
nigga,
was,
that ain't no bomb. That is
yeah,
a
bro,
different
yeah.
qualification.
It was horrible, bro. It was the worst it was the worst shit I've ever felt in my
Yeah,
life.
that's a
Like,
different qualification. I don't even know what you call that.
yeah,
That's I
yeah,
don't know. It's more than a bomb.
yeah.
You know of
But I
that.
don't get into this mindset because I
Mm.
feel like it's more like damaging than anything that I just see so many comics doing. Like, oh, you're gonna bomb all the time. It's,
I think somebody putting that on you before the act is like destructive. I mean,
yeah,
I think it is in terms of sometimes it is what it is. Like nigga, I
yeah,
fucking bomb. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah,
Like
yeah,
it is. Like
yeah,
once it's done, like once it's like all right, you saw the like
yeah,
all right, you see the ground, you see the rubble. I give you around like
yeah.
yo, I built something, y'all. I did good, yo. You see the skyscrapers? Like, nah, nigga, we don't. We
Yeah,
fucking
yeah,
rubble.
no,
What are you
yeah, it's
talking about?
Rebel. Yeah,
It's like,
yeah.
look, all right, we get it. Let me just move on to a
And
new
it's like I
location.
was not good at comedy my first 2 years at all.
Uh,
I just like wasn't. I would go and do a shitty open mic in LA, and then I would go back to my Kia Soul and cry in the back seat and go to sleep.
yo, damn, in
Yeah,
a
bro.
Kia Soul,
Yeah, bro.
nigga, you was fucking who?
Bro,
What?
yeah, bro. It was
Ah, yeah, you was out there,
yeah,
bro.
I was just like out there, but I just fell in I always knew I wanted to do comedy. I was so scared to do it, but I just really, really fell in love with it. It was just so cool to me, man. It's like, damn, because there's no blueprint for comedy. There's no right or wrong way to do comedy. As long as people are laughing, that's all that matters. And it's like, I also don't see competition in comedy. There's only one me. There's only one you. And we're all our own individual person. Nobody can do me better than me. Nobody can do you better than you. Why am I competing with people? You know what I'm saying? Let's uplift each other because at the end of the day, one thing I love about comedy and comedians, I have so many comedian friends, especially like in Texas, man, that we don't agree on stuff socially. We don't agree religiously. We don't agree politically. We don't agree on so many things, but we both do this thing called stand-up comedy. And I have the utmost respect for anybody that decides to get on the stage and grab that mic and talk
Mm,
into it. Like I don't care like what we disagree on. We agree on this thing. And that's like the biggest like respect thing to me. Because like, man, when I was doing the whole acting like thing serious, I still act, but like when I was like really in the acting industry thing coming up, I hated being around actors. I hated it. I hated going to these Hollywood parties and it's nothing but actors and it's like you're not even talking to me like a human, bro. I don't know if I'm actually getting who you are or you got this character thing going on or whatever. Or if like I don't care who you just worked with. I really don't. I didn't even ask you that. I was like, hey bro, these sandwiches good. You know what I'm saying? Like I didn't ask you what producer or director you were working with this week. I was just asked if the
yeah,
sandwich is good so I can decide whether or not I want to grab a sandwich or not. And it's like actors get into like that weird thing, but comics, I mean, I get annoyed when comics are speaking to me in bits. Don't speak to me in bits. I'm talking like we're humans, dog.
that's
Just
so
fucking
funny. That's such a
unless like we're
universal.
we're like, hey, like, can I run this bit by you? Yeah, absolutely, or whatever. But like, don't talk to me in bits.
That's such a universal thing as well. Like not liking that. Like, all right, look, we're not on stage. We're just having a
We're
regular
not on stage,
conversation.
bro. Like we're chilling. Like I don't want to perform off stage. I want to perform on stage. When I'm off
Yeah,
stage, I'm chilling. I'm Jordan or whatever. You know what
chilling.
I'm saying? Like it's not all that, but I have respect for comedians because this is a hard fucking thing to do. And it's like you get on stage and you expose yourself to people's judgments. You expose yourself for anybody who's in that room to judge you and think however they want to think about you. And that's a scary fucking thing. Like it really is.
Yeah.
But it's like also I respect you. I have even if I don't even like your comedy, I still respect you because
Mm.
you got on stage and you grabbed that mic and you're talking to strangers, you know? And it's like that's the thing I love. Cause I have one of my best friends, Dean Stanfield, he's the biggest redneck in the world. I love rednecks, but we're both Texans or whatever. But it's
Yeah.
like there's a lot of stuff I know we don't agree on, but we both are comedians. So I was like, hey, I'll hang out with you. Let's kick it or whatever. Because
Mm.
it's like I respect you because you're doing the thing that a lot of people think they want to do or think they can do, but they'll never do it. That's why all these
Yeah.
fucking hecklers suck. Because it's like, hey, you obviously really want to do this, but you're too afraid to. So you're gonna sit in the audience and yell shit at me. But guess what? Nobody in this audience paid to see you.
That's a fact.
You know what I'm saying? Like nobody. So please, bro, I have a microphone, and like my voice is amplified, and my dad's a Vietnam War vet. I have the thickest skin, dog. You're not
Right.
gonna win. Like, and Two, like if it really comes down to it, I'm from Texas. I will drop kick you. You know, like
Oh,
I would,
wait.
I would, I would jump off the stage.
Dog.
Like no, no, bro,
What you
it's
mean?
what is man, it's yo.
Nigga, what you talking
I'm
about? You gonna
crazy,
drop
bro.
kicks? That's a Texas thing?
Yeah, bro,
Drop kicking?
man, I'll put a boot in your chest.
Dog, drop kicking is
Yeah,
something hilarious, dog. What?
yeah, like man, like if I'm talking to you and wanting a response, then talk back, but like don't start
That's
like
funny.
talking shit. You're not gonna win, man. My feelings have been hurt too much for you to win.
Yeah, I mean, you
Like,
cried in the Kia Soul, man.
yeah,
Ain't
bro, I
nothing hurt
cried
you.
in the
Yeah.
queer, so you're not about to hurt my feelings.
Yeah, I ain't
Bro,
gonna.
it's
Yeah.
that fucking is that Bernie Mac thing. Like, I ain't scared of you motherfuckers. Like,
There you
I ain't
go.
scared of you mother. Fuck out. I'm not scared of
I
you
ain't scared you
motherfuckers.
motherfuckers. I'll spray paint my face on my pants right
Yeah,
now. I ain't
dog,
scared
like,
you
I ain't
motherfuckers.
scared, dog. Yeah, but no, man, it's. But I always tell myself too, man. Like, I get to do this. I get to do this. You know, it's like that is a blessing in and of itself. We get to tell jokes to people. You know, we get to get on stage. We get to meet people from every walk of life, and we get to give them ourselves to make them feel some joy and some positivity. Like I don't really my style of comedy isn't punching down. I don't like doing like negative type of stuff. Like
Mhm.
I just want to like help people out, and the best way I know how to, from just how I was raised and just how I'm living, is through positive, joyous type of stuff. You know, I have like
Mm.
definitely like some jokes that are definitely like whatever,
Right.
but it's like
Yeah,
I know
no.
I don't do anything offensive. If you get offended like by one of my jokes, it's like, oh, that's a you thing.
Yeah.
You know, but it's like I'm not punching down. I'm not like trying to make anybody feel bad. I'm not trying to. I'm just observing my own life and existence and how I feel about stuff and sharing it in a goofy ass way, because like we're comedians. We all come from fucked up past, you know? I haven't met a single comedian that hasn't had like some type of fucked up trauma happen to them.
True.
And it's like, all right, I'm either gonna let that stuff like overtake me and keep me down and like, not having a joyous like I just want to have, like Dave Chappelle man said, like about being Muslim. Like I just want to have a meaningful life. Like I just want to have, and you can do that. Anybody can do that in their own way. And as comedy, you get to do it your own way. In acting, there's rules. It's
Yeah.
follow the script. This is what I wrote or whatever. In
Yeah.
comedy, it's just
Meisner,
like,
yeah.
yeah, exactly, man. I went through years of Meisner. That shit
Yeah.
fucked my head up.
I used to go to
But
acting school in New York City. Uta Hagen, and I forgot what her technique was. What's the technique in HB Studio? But that's a different
yeah,
story.
yeah, yeah. But yeah, man, it's just like getting the privilege it is to get to do this thing called comedy, man. It's a privilege. Is I delivered ice for a year and a half. I've done a bunch of weird fucking jobs. I've done farm work. I've done hard labor stuff. Now I get to just travel around the world telling jokes, man. It's the biggest blessing in the world. Like I thank God literally every single day. Every single day I'm thanking God, bro.
Man,
Every single day.
and you doing it for real. I mean, so what's next in store for you?
This November tour, I'm hitting Barcelona, I'm hitting Amsterdam, I'm hitting Rome. They're waiting to hit. I'm going to Vienna, October 27th.
Wow.
Yeah, and booking. I really want to get into Africa.
Mm.
I really want to go out to
Yeah, South
Africa.
Africa's a place, you know?
Yeah, I hear South Africa has a great scene. I hit up a few places in Cairo, Egypt. One place hit me back. They're like, we just don't do comedy in English. I was like, well, point me to where y'all do comedy in English in Cairo. I'm trying to go to Egypt, but yeah, I really, man, I just want to get in front of as many people as possible. And
Turkey too.
yeah, okay,
Yeah,
cool.
Turkey.
All right.
No, yeah. Actually, Turkey got some places. I know a girl
Okay,
who,
cool.
yeah.
But yeah, man, just getting to as many places as possible and just rocking and rolling. I don't know where life is gonna. I didn't know where life was gonna take me when I got out to the UK, man. I just came out like, hey, if I just keep working, stay positive, stay. It's crazy how far being kind to people can get you.
Hmm.
Like, there's a lot of comics that I don't feel like really understand that concept, but like also like I don't. life is hard for anybody. Like I don't want to be somebody where, if I come around, people are like, oh, here comes more negative energy and stuff. Like it's already hard for everybody that exists. Being a human is not easy, especially in this day and age. We're in a weird day and age,
Weird.
super weird, especially with like social media and where shit is going politically. Like it's all weird and stuff. And so, and I don't want people to be an asshole or a dick to me. So I just come with people with like an open heart, open mind, like, and just it's crazy how far a thank you can get you. Just telling people thank you, I appreciate it. Like that has helped. Thank you has helped me out way more than anything else in life.
All right.
Yo, thank you. You know what I'm saying? Like just because we all need more of that. We don't need to make life harder for anybody else, man. We just like show a little more love, show and like genuine, like not the fucking like overly like do kind of no fuck that. Like no, don't do that lame shit. But like genuine, hey, I am appreciative because you gave me an opportunity or you just told me that you liked my comedy or you gave me a follow online. You said, hey, where's your next show? Like, thank you so much for any type of support that you could get, even if it's just a smile. Thank you for smiling at me. Yo, like, thank you for that. Because little stuff like that, man, all that adds up and it's like it keeps you going because man, like I was clinically diagnosed with depression when I was 21.
Oh wow.
I've been suicidal. Like I've been like in really, really, really dark places or whatever. Like 2022, dog. Every other week for a year straight, I had a panic attack. It was like it was rough for me. I had to do a lot of internal work. I had to go to therapy. I had to like really like do the internal work so I could just fucking survive out here. And it's like, man, like I know what that type of energy is like, and I don't want anybody to experience anything like that. So I'm just gonna be nice to people because I'm lazy too. It's way easier to be nice to people. It's so much effort to be a dickhead to people, bro. That's more effort than I'm willing to give out with anything. Like, like just be kind to people, man. I don't know. Just be nice. I appreciate you for, letting me come here and just,
Yeah.
kick it with you and stuff. I remember when I met you in London, I think back to this show a lot. The host,
Was
when
it,
she brought you up, that one woman, we were doing
this is in London?
yeah, yeah.
We met in
We
London?
met in London.
Hold on, wait.
We did what's his name show? It starts with the M. It was in that coffee shop.
Oh, right. Sorry. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, Marvin
Marvin. And
McCarthy.
but the
Yeah.
host, when she brought you up, I was like, this is the craziest shit I've ever heard. Cause she was already like
It was so wild.
wilding, right? But when she brought you up, she went, oh, this man is like so handsome. And when she said your name, she went, Nee. And I was like, yo, whoa, hold on, what's going on? And she said the N-word without saying the N-word. Bro, I was like, whoa, this is not how you pronounce his name, but she like carried it on too, bro. She was like, nee, yeah. And I was like, whoa, my gosh, this is insane, bro. This is the craziest thing I have ever seen at a comedy show for real. Who is this woman? How, what?
Dog.
I remember I was sitting by you too, and I was just like, I was looking around, and everybody in the room was looking around like, yo, is this really happening right now? This is insanity. Yeah, that's how we met.
Because you didn't know where it was going.
No idea where it was going. You had no. Anytime she would speak on the mic, you didn't know where it was going.
She just started with the end.
Yeah, but she carried it. She like carried it like a note.
You was like, yo, she about to say nigga.
Yeah, I was. That's what it felt like, and that everybody else in that room felt it too.
Oh,
Everybody else felt it in that room too.
That is funny
Yeah.
because I know because my name gets messed up all the time. I got jokes about it, but for you, you like, yo, what the,
Yeah.
where's this going? She's talking about some right wing stuff, and then what's happening?
Yeah. She was like, fuck socialism, all types of stuff, or whatever.
a weird
and
show.
it was weird.
That was
man.
so weird. I was like, what's going on?
And I remember Marvin, you could just see it in his face. Like, I should have never asked her to host. God,
yeah,
wow, man.
highly, man, she was just going off and just injecting political stuff where it didn't need to be. It was just like, yo,
Yeah.
what is going on, yo? Just run for office. Like we was at an open mic. Like, what are you? This is not a town hall. This is an open mic where jokes happen. Like, we don't want to hear politics. What's going on? Every other
Dog.
joke was like politics and like woke culture. It's like, stop it, yo.
The amount, literally every time I see you, I think about when I met you and like when she introduced you, I was like, dog, this is insane that she literally just did this right now in front of a in a room where there is a good amount of black folks in there too. And
Yeah, she was just like, yo, what is going on? What's
yeah,
happening in London?
yeah,
Well, how they do it out here?
yeah. I was like, whoa, this is a different side of London that I haven't seen yet. This is crazy. Yeah.
Bro, that whole entire, I think I was saying on stage, I'm like, this is like a fever dream or something. This is wild. Cause I'm like, what is going on, yo?
Yeah, the mic went out when I was up there, so I just had to yell at people. I just had to fucking do my set with
It
no
was all over. And I
microphone.
think then when you was on stage, then like the music that played to you doing improv was like some Asian, like dun 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 dun, dun. And
Yeah,
I was like, what? Because Marvin, he's like half Irish, half Asian. I'm
yeah.
like, yo, what is going? I'm like, what is? Everybody was like, yo, what is
It
happening?
was, bro. It was a fever dream of a night of some comedy shit. But yeah, man. No, you good people, dog. I rocks with you heavy,
That's
dog. You,
so
yeah.
one question I have to ask, this is the last question I have, and this is I ask everyone on the podcast. You've been through a lot of different cultures, from Texas, to to London, to all these states here, and not states, but countries in Europe. What's an advice you can give to your younger self? Um,
To my younger
yeah, to
self,
your younger self.
chill out, calm the fuck down, breathe, and believe.
Ah,
Yeah,
all right.
yeah.
I like.
Because I used to be just so manic with everything, dog, and I just breathe through everything. Just conscious breathing, dog. Just breathe and believe, and just chill out. It's all good, you know. If it's supposed to happen, it's gonna happen, but make it happen, you know. But
Mhm.
yeah, just calm the fuck down. Calm the fuck down.
That's
Yeah,
some good advice, man. I
yeah,
mean, you already calm now, calm, smooth, and also too, you look like Jimi Hendrix. So I mean, that
yeah,
all
man. It's a good mix. It's a good
it's a
mix.
good mix,
I'm
man.
grateful.
A
I'm
manic,
grateful.
Jimi Hendrix. I mean, could have made you would have been doing some crazy stuff on stage.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
mean, who knows?
yeah,
Purple Haze, right? But that's the name of the song, yeah, right?
yeah.
Yeah,
Purple
Purple
haze.
Haze,
I have
right?
that the quote tattooed on me. Excuse me while I kiss the sky.
Oh shit, there you go. So yeah,
Yeah,
you're already there.
yeah, man.
Yeah, your hour long special might be some. Well, then that's whatever you want to do with that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But bro, thank you very much for doing this,
Bro,
man.
thank you so much, man.
Thank
This
you,
was a lot of
man.
fun. This is a great conversation
This is
too, for
good
real.
talk, man.
Yeah.
And guys, thank you very much for listening and or watching. This is your boy Nyan Yenifin, Third Culture Talk Podcast. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.
Peace.